I think I finally get Destiny 2. Friends, I've been trying to enjoy Destiny 2 for the better part of 5 years. And every single time I jump into its beautiful combat, its incredible world, with its extremely high fidelity production values, I always find myself getting to a point of burnout where I ask myself, what gets people to play this game every day, every week? I don't get it. I can't find it. I think that perhaps I have let the community of Destiny lead me astray. A community that seems to be unified around what's measurable about Destiny: DPS, God rolls, all kinds of questions and matters about loot. And as I've grown older in my enjoyment of these kinds of games, these MMOs or MMO lights, I've found the chase of loot to become less and less an important part of the experience. It is still important, but it no longer captures the focus. Instead, what captures my focus over time are the meaningful moments shared with the setting, the characters, and my fellow gamers as we experience both together. And there's a certain quality that grind focused games that focus on repetition have, where even if you're spending that time with other people, you end up essentially turning yourself into a sort of machine focused on efficiency, and that grinds all the meaning out of the experience. You shift the meaning of the experience away from the present moment and towards a future goal. Some of that is good, some of that is healthy, but too much of it will grind your soul away. And that's how I've always felt Destiny has called me to act. Now, I'm not sure how much of this is personal changes for me, new insights, or honest to God, just maturation of Destiny the hobby, because I think it has come along quite far. But as I've been getting in and catching up on Season of the Seraph in advance of the Lightfall campaign coming out soon, I have found myself understanding how to approach and what to enjoy about Destiny in a way I've never have done before. I've just been eating my way through the seasonal story, and I gotta say, as a casual player, it feels like the right way to play Destiny's season is to play it like its own expansion in the weeks leading up to the expansion. Because at the end of the seasons, all the progression gets sped up, and you don't have to wait a week for new things to happen. Now, when it comes to watching TV shows, I'm actually a huge proponent of weekly releases. I'm an old fogey because I like the chance to talk about the things and digest the things I've experienced and walk it out over time. With Destiny, though, I have been so enjoying just playing the content every night and not feeling like I have to fill time with stuff that I don't care about so much. Stuff like, I'll be honest, PvP in MMO games has become so unimportant to me. Planet Side 2 being the one lonesome exception. Uh and The stuff that I actually care about, the story moments, the pieces of setting, the worlds to explore, you get to the end of it pretty quick. So how do you get the best out of what I like about Destiny? Well, I'll tell you what I tried, and then I'll tell you what seems to be working now. And I'll be honest, when I think about this, it makes me feel pretty dumb. Uh, you can let me know if you think this is a silly thing to have thought or done. But essentially, when I first started playing Destiny, I really wanted it to be an MMO, like the way World of Warcraft is an MMO. Like the way you can just walk out into the world and you can find cool things, places to explore, people to meet, people on quests, NPCs in trouble, and you can just take a world first approach towards experiencing what is good about the world. It's kind of like going to the mall, you know? Sometimes you go to the mall because you want something. Sometimes you go to the mall because you just are bored and want to hang out with friends. And you find yourself exploring, going from place to place. I love that quality of MMO games. But trying to treat Destiny that way was awful. Never worked. Back in Forsaken, when I first started, that's what I did when I got to the end of the campaign content. I find myself just going to the Dreaming City and like running around saying, "Oh, what's over here? What's over here?" And eventually I figured out that like there's not a lot to see. There is a huge world, but the stuff that's in it is focused in a way that was hard for me to get. Um when I did engage in some of those things like the adventures or some of the quests, I'd be left feeling like, really? That's what we're doing here? And maybe that was an indicator of Destiny's maturity at that time. You see, with Destiny, what I've come to figure out is it's not like a mall. It's more like I don't know, it's kind of like a pizza restaurant or something. I don't know what the right metaphor is, but Destiny has these incredibly large, vibrant world spaces, like Savathun's throne world, like the Bray Tech on Europa and the space facility, which I've been so enjoying bopping around in the current season. Um, and any little bit of content you do, whether it be going there to the patrol zone, which I've realized is its own sort of content, or engaging in a quest or a mission, it takes a part of those worlds and cordons them off like rides at a theme park. And you have to go to it with the idea of, I'm getting on a ride. And in order to properly do that, you have to know where the list of rides is. Where is that list? It's the map. Destiny's map has always turned me off. It's nothing like a traditional MMO map. And in fact, I don't know if it was rebranded this way or if it's always been this way, but it's called the Director, a place that I guess controls the action. And if I had really taken that title seriously, maybe I would have figured this out sooner. But the way you learn what to do in Destiny is you go through a bunch of menus that tell you how to direct your attention. And if you do that, and if you chase the things that seem to be of the highest personal valence, have the greatest meaning, then you'll be able to go on a series of rides that you will hopefully find interesting. Um, it sounds stupid, right? But I really used to think this game is an MMO. I should be able to go to Europa and find adventure. But all I would find is meaningless enemies and not much to do and like a bunch of empty worlds with no consequence or action happening. You have to go with the idea of I'm getting on this ride and then you get the cool experience through that chunk of the world. Another thing that I tried with Destiny was trying to approach it from a gear first standpoint. Oh man, that never worked for me. I figured out pretty quick that focus on gear and god rolls was going to grind me into dust, and I'm so glad that I've let go of that. And actually, I find the weapon crafting system. I know it's considered unpopular by a lot of people in Destiny, but I found it to be so refreshing. To be able to have weapons that I craft and then develop a long time. And yeah, I'm not sure where the right place for it to land is in terms of the amount of grinding you need to do in order to actually unlock the weapon crafting. I'm hoping that Lightfall will iterate on that and we don't just give up on weapon crafting because to me, it's a lot closer to the way that I want to interact with gear in a game like Destiny than chasing god rolls, which are alienating and confusing and require you to have a PhD in Destiny. And it's such a turnoff. Anytime that kind of discussion comes up with this game for me, as an admittedly casual player, just trying to have fun and experience the world, the characters, and the people. Um, so that's it. That's uh, that's the realization. That's what's in the season of the Seraph is what's finally allowed me to start enjoying Destiny and looking forward to it, and thinking about what cool experiences I can have. And for me, there are times with all this where I just feel proud of Destiny. Even though I'm not an original Destiny 1 player, even though I wasn't there for Destiny 2 launch, I have seen this game grow. And especially I think in the last year or two with the seasonal storytelling. Actually, a lot of members from the Guild Wars 2 team that I so love, I know have made their way over to Bungie to to work on Destiny, and I feel like I see their work. I see the story competence that Guild Wars 2 has had for a long time being flexed here in Destiny, and it's so cool to see. It's great to see the characters grow, and I remember doing Season of the Haunted last year, which is the time that I chose to experience the Witch Queen expansion. Like the story with Zavala and how good that was. Um, in the current story that I'm doing right now in Seraph Shield, there was this great interaction over a comm log that you overhear between um, The Stranger, Elsie or Elizabeth Bray, I can't think of her name exactly, and Mara Sov, where they talk about the grief of trying to love somebody who's forgotten the person that you know. So both of these people have a relationship with someone who was brought back to life by a ghost. And in Destiny's setting, what that means is that they were resurrected as a soldier with superpowers, basically, like a space wizard, which is what the player character is. But that same conceit used to explain why the player character's life begins at resurrection and why you don't remember your life before that resurrection. In the one case with Anna Bray, she doesn't remember her family from before she died. And the other one who's kind of inferentially part of the conversation, which is this character named Crow, he doesn't remember who he was before his resurrection. But the people that they're with do remember those people. And there's such a grief in that. It's almost like dealing with someone who has had some kind of a stroke or some kind of a serious problem where they've changed as a person. And you love them for who they are, and you always will see the person who they were. But anyway, I could go on about this. And the point is, Destiny didn't used to be able to tell character stories like this. It's growing up. And it's what I feel like I've always been so here for with this game. And I'm so excited to see where else it'll go. And now that I feel like I finally understand how to enjoy it, um, I feel like it's up to me to get as much out of it as I can. Anyway, that's the ramble. Just wanted to share that. Please, my good friends, take good care of yourself, be good to each other, and I'll see you very soon.